Discussing the Unit 4 of our diploma. Today we will be discussing the Unit 4 of our diploma, that is research method. And as I don't see anyone new here, so we can skip the intro part of this diploma. When I see if anyone new has joined us, then I will get back to this slide. Now let's start with the research methodology. That is the unit 4 of the diploma of the mandatory unit. It's the last one of the mandatory unit. Then later on, we will be discussing the subjects that are included in the option units. So I have already told you and discussed with you in the previous sessions regarding the importance of this diploma. Now, research is a very, very, very important, very essential aspect or a step in any kind of degree, any kind of diploma, any kind of study for your business, for your job, anything, you name it. Okay, research is very important, especially since we are dealing with the 3 P's, that is profit, people, and planet. So research in these areas related to your studies, or maybe related to your business, or maybe related to whatever you are doing, research is very important. So let me discuss some important, very, very essential aspects of the research. Number 1, as you can see on your screen, is the advancement of the knowledge. Obviously, research is done to extend or to increase our understanding of the world, understanding of the facts, or understanding of the theories, or any scientific development. All right. The second, we have the innovation and development. The research is important because new technologies are developing every day, and there is a need to develop the new technologies because we need to obviously advance ourselves, because we are now not only focusing on the profit, but we are also focusing on the sustainability, on the environment, on the benefits of the people. So for the innovation and for the development, obviously research would be the first step. Then you would have the solutions to the problem. Research is that tool that provides you solutions to any problem that is related to your studies, or maybe related to your business, or maybe related to your work field. Then obviously economic and social benefit, that is money is the major concern that we are doing what we are doing. So research, by researching, you can get money. Like for example, if you're going to build something, if you're going to solve a problem, obviously your main concern might be, well, 80% of the concern is economic and social benefit. And finally, education and learning, because research actually aids or help our learning process. So what actually research is, that what is the concept of research, which is a very, very important thing in any diploma, any business. So the word research is actually it is comprised of 2 words, that is re and search. That means you are searching something again. It's actually a systematic, a formal and intensive process of carrying out the scientific method of analysis. Now, scientific method does not mean that you are only using the laboratory tools. No, or maybe you are dealing with something grand or something, a big database. No, scientific method of analysis involve any small data as well. And it may include any surveys that you are going to make pie chart, or maybe pie graphs, or maybe bar graphs of it. So the scientific method is not always a difficult one or a tough one. It could be a small one, depending on what you are researching, what is your area of expertise. Now, research can be of various types. Now, the most common types that you heard of, or maybe you are hearing every day, is the quantitative and the qualitative research. Okay, before I begin with the type of the research, let me tell you that you have to keep in mind that I would like you guys who are available here to actively participate here. since the assignment for this unit is different compared to the previous one, I will be explaining it simultaneously along with this presentation, with this session topic, because the assignment does not ask you to write the definition of the research and what are the type of the research, but you will be actually formulating or developing your own research proposal based on your interest, based on your expertise, based on your experience, with the help of theory that I'm going to explain here. So you have to please actively participate here, because I will be telling you how you will be making the proposal, or maybe the research, how we'll be formulating the research proposal for this, for the assignment of this subject, right? I'm seeing new people have joined us. Anyone here who is attending the session for the OTHM diploma first time, please tell me. Mr. Shoaib and Mr. Arshad Iqbal, is this your first time attending the session for this diploma?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
first time.
yes, it's my first time, but I have attended the last three sessions as well.
Oh, alrighty. That's what I'm asking. Is this your first session or not? Sir, Arshad Iqbal, is this your first time?
Yes, ma'am, first time.
Okay, then let me briefly introduce what this diploma act entails. Let's get back to this slide that I. Okay. This is actually the OTHM Level 7 Diploma in Environmental and Sustainable Management. And this diploma is for those individuals or professionals that are interested in the environment and ecological safety, and whose job demands them to know the concepts related to health, safety, sustainability, environment, and who want to integrate the knowledge of ESG, that is environment, social, and governance principle, into their jobs or into their qualification or certification. Now, this qualification is approved by the OFQUL, that is Office of Qualification and Examination Regulation. And this degree has RQF, that is Regulated Qualification Framework. According to the RQF, this degree has the same value as that of the master's degree, that it has equivalency of the master's degree. And here on your screens, you can see the units that you will be that we will be discussing over here. We have 4 mandatory units. As you can see, we are done with the first 3 units, and the 4th one we are going to discuss today, that is the research methodology. And then on the upcoming later weeks, we will be discussing or taking sessions for the optional units that are, as you can see on your screen. So mandatory units, okay, now all of these units, you will be required to prepare an assignment in order to get our diploma certificate, because obviously we need to know, or the institute need to know, that if you are qualified or if you have improved your knowledge regarding the ESG concept or the concept of sustainability. So with the discussion of the concepts of the units that are required in the units, we are also discussing how you will be preparing your assignments for the assessment in all of these units. Now let's get back to the topic. So today's topic is the research methodology. As I already have explained, that research is a very, very, very essential part for any kind of education, for any kind of business, because every field requires research. So now I was discussing the types of the research. Now, the most common types that you always hear about are the quantitative and the qualitative research, right? These are actually categorized on the basis of the nature of the information. Now, quantitative, as the name suggests, include anything that has a quantity, right? Like, for example, if you are studying the temperature changes in a particular region, that would be the quantitative study, because you will be studying the numerics or the numbers or the quantity of the change in the temperature, right? Then the next one is the qualitative research, that obviously includes the quality. And it may include the interviews, it may include the focus groups, it may include the surveys. For example, if you want to study how a population is coping with the water scarcity, that would be the qualitative study. Then we have the types of the research that are based on the utility of the content, that how you are going to use the data. Number one is the descriptive research, that also obviously it actually, as the name suggests, it is describing something, it is explaining something. For example, you are conducting a survey because you want to assess the biodiversity or the species living in a particular area, or the population of the different animals living in that particular area, and then you will be describing in your research that what type of species are present, and what type of the predator-prey relationship is going on, and what type of food chain is going on. That would be the descriptive research. Then you get the analytical research. Analytical research, actually, as the name suggests, that it involves the analysis or the interpretation of the data or any factual information that is available. Like, for example, a relationship between two factors. Like, for example, if you want to study the impact of farming practices on the groundwater on any particular area, that would be the analytical research. Here you would be like, for example, if you are studying a particular pesticide, you will be gathering the data by getting the soil samples in that area, and then you will be studying those soil samples by seeing that what type of chemicals those soil samples have, and then you will get the groundwater on that particular area, and then you will study or analyze that what type of chemicals that groundwater have, and then you will analyze all of these factors based on whatever your major goal is. You will analyze all these data and you will give out your results. So that would be the analytical research. Then you have the applied research, that is scientific research that can be applicable. For example, you are solving a problem. For example, in an area, the water filtration plant is not very durable or not very efficient. So there you want to develop a new filtration plant with a new technology, and you will be then applying your research on the water of that area, and you will be using the research for the benefit of the people. That is the applied research. That is something practicable, or that is giving out a product. Now we have other types of the research based on the methods of the research, as you can see on your screen. First one is the philosophical. Obviously, you are deciding that what type of vision previous people have, or what type of vision you right now have, what are the mindsets of the people you are discussing in that research. Historical research, as the name suggests, obviously it involves history. Now, the historical research could be qualitative, could be quantitative, because it depends on what type of historical research you are carrying out. Then you have the experimental research. Here, obviously, you are doing the experiments, right? And that is mostly it is quantitative research, because when you are experimenting in the lab, you are dealing with the numbers, you are dealing with the numerics. So obviously that would be most of the time is the quantitative research. Then obviously you have the case study research. When you do a case study in a particular area regarding any method or any circumstances or maybe any factor, that would be the case study. And then we have the empirical research that actually focuses on the observation, that focuses on the experience without giving much importance to the theory or any system. For example, if you want to study the impact of air pollution on respiratory health in an area, in any area, XYZ, ABC, or any area. So here you will study the relationship between the air pollution level and occurrence of the respiratory disease. So that research can stand alone, right? You won't necessarily need to add the past theory, or maybe you have to add some systematic changes in here. Okay, this research can stand alone because it is focusing on the observation, it is focusing on the experience. So that is the empirical research. I hope you get the point of different type of researches. Now, based on your experience, based on your interest, you will be preparing the proposal for the research for this assignment. Next is the process. It's just the main crux or the main gist of that how the research process goes. First, you have to formulate the research problem. I will be discussing how you will be formulating the research problem. Then you will give the literature survey. Obviously, I will be discussing later on in this session that how the literature survey you have to carry out. Then you have to develop your hypothesis. Then you will prepare the design. You will be collecting the data. You will execute your project. Then you will analyze your data. You will be testing your hypothesis. You will then interpret your data and then report. Now, keep that in mind that these steps, these highlighted ones, you are not supposed to do that for the assignment of this project. These are actually the steps that will be carried out when you are conducting the research. Your goal or your task for this assignment is only to develop the research proposal. All right. So you won't have to do the last highlighted steps. All right. Now let's discuss these steps one by one, the ones you have to carry out. The first is the research problem. Now, problem, as you all know, it's any question that needs to be solved, right? Problem is a question that you have to solve, right? But we have the two things that many people confuse them with. The one is the research problem and the other is the research topic or the title. Okay. Now, as you can see on the screen, this is the basic definition that the research problem concerns with the functioning of the broader area of the field studied. And the research topic or statement is actually the statement of the problem. But in reality, what is this? What is the difference? Now, the title is actually, these things are totally different. Keep that in mind. Title is what? A concise or a descriptive, a gist, a statement. That is focus of the topic, right? It gives reader, because obviously when someone opens your research proposal, he would obviously first look at the research title, right? So the topic or the title, the statement that you are going to give at the top of the research or at the starting of the research, that is the title. It gives the reader the clear idea of what the research is about. For example, if you want to develop a filter, a specific filter using a specific technology, your title would be the concise thing that is explaining that you are building something, or you are providing the information to build something and applied research, right? For example, if you are gonna make a filter or maybe a catalyst for the treatment of, for example, lead in water, then you will name your research. It's just an example. You can obviously name it in another way. You will name your research using XYZ metal as a catalyst to degrade the lead in drinking water. So the reader will be able to decide or to get the point what your research is about, either it's of interest, of his interest or not. Okay. The next is the problem statement. It is actually the statement, a specific issue or a gap in the knowledge the study aims to address. It is actually the focus of your study, a fixed focus. For example, in the same example, I would like that your topic was using XYZ metal as a catalyst for the degradation of the lead in the drinking water. That was your statement. But your research problem would not be that. Your research problem would be the problem that you are solving. So research problem, what would it be? That the present method for the treatment of the lead from the water are not durable, or maybe are very expensive, or maybe are not reliable, etc. So that would be the problem on which your whole research proposal is fixed on. That is being utilized as the main focus of your research. I hope you are getting what is the difference between the research problem and research title. Any question till now? Alrighty. So just to clarify, actually on the basis of problem statement, you are actually figure out the goals of your research. Now, for the research, obviously, you have decided what you want, what is your interest. Then you will be deciding what is the problem in that particular interest. And then based on this research problem, you will decide the goals or aims of the research, that what you want to do. It could be the 3 steps for the goal. It could be 4 goals. It could be 5 goals, depending on whatever you want to do. Okay. Now, how are you gonna identify the research problem? You are obviously, your step number 1 would be determining the field of the research. Obviously, the field of the research could be based on your interest, could be based on the nature of the job, or could be based on something that you see on your everyday basis. All right. So then you will select the topic in that particular area. For example, you are dealing with some water issue in your area. So you will say that I want to work on, or I want to develop a research proposal on something that is related to water pollution. Then obviously you will find the field of specialization, because obviously water pollution is a very broad aspect, very broad area. So you cannot do do research on all the aspects, right? You will select your field of specialization, okay? And then you will find the recent trends, that what other people are doing, what other researchers are doing, or what other businesses are doing. Then you will prioritize your field of the study, that I have this expertise in related to water pollution, then I will be prioritizing this. This is the trend among the other industries. This is a trend among the other firms or organizations. This is a trend among the other countries or other research groups. Now, my field of study is this, so I'm gonna select this topic. And then you will draw the analogy in the problem identification. You will compare that what is the real problem that is based on your expertise and your interest. And then obviously you will select this aspect, any aspect. Now, how can you identify or determine what's the recent trend in your field of research? You can go for the education agencies. Like, for example, if you are a student, obviously you get to talk to many other students, you get to talk to many other professors. So you get the point that what is the recent trend in the field of research related to that particular area. Or you can look at the social developments or the technological changes in the past 10 years or past 5 years, that what is the behavior of people, what is the behavior of all these technological changes. Or you can consult any specialist. That, for example, if you are working for doing the research for your organization, you can consult a specialist, that I want to do this and that. What do you think would be the best way to do this? Or you can go for the discussion among your colleagues or your fellows, etc. Or you can look at the previous research, or obviously the textbooks, assignments, report, depending on what is the availability and what is the nature of your interest. Now, I would like anyone amongst you to tell me just an example that what do you want to do research on, or what is your field of specialty? Something very general, something very general, because maybe the other people are not related to that field, so they can understand easily. If you're interested, anyone amongst you.
Forestry.
Alrighty. Okay, for example, your field of research, yeah, or your field of specialty is forestry, and you are looking uh, when you are living in Islamabad or any area that is located near the forest, you are looking, for example, that we are losing many trees, for example, just an example. Okay, so your field of interest is forestry, and we want to check that why this deforestation, or for example, those why the number of trees is decreasing in the forest nearby. For example, I will be taking Magla Hills, for example. Okay, keep that in mind. Your field of interest is now forestry. Okay, now next is the statement problem, or the statement problem statement, or the statement of the problem. It is actually the as I already discussed, that this is actually the specific issue or the gap in the knowledge the study aims to address. All right, now according to many experts, they say that the problem statement of the problem should be concerned with the relationship between two or more variables. Okay, and it should be stated clearly in a question form, because obviously this is the point that you are gonna take to decide what are the goals of your research, what are the objectives of your research, and what type of methodology you will be selecting for your research. Okay, and it should be amenable to empirical testing. As I already tested, empirical research is something that can stand alone, right? It focuses on the observation and experience, okay, without giving much importance to the system or the theory. So you have to keep that in mind. It can be a standalone, it should be a standalone statement. Now, why do we make the statement of problem or problem statement? Because as I already mentioned, that you have to make the research work feasible. When you have already decided that this would be the problem statement of my research, we will work around that. We will decide the methodology based on this problem statement, so that our research work is feasible, is we are able to easily accomplish it, or without much difficulties. And then to delimit the scope of the problem and to establish a proper frame of reference. You would get a frame of reference for your whole research, that this is the central point, this is the problem, and on that problem I have to base my whole research on it. So based on your interest, that was the forestry. I would find the forestry, as I said, that I have been noticing the deforestation in the Magla Hills. So my problem statement would be deforestation increasing rapidly, or I could say the number of trees or the number of green cover is decreasing day by day in that particular area in the Magla Hills. Okay, that would be the problem statement. Just an example, all right? Next is the literature review. Obviously, you have decided the topic of your research, you have decided your field of interest, then you have decided the topic of research, you have decided what is the problem that lies in that particular area of your interest, right? Then you have to go for the literature review, or a background section, or a review section. Here, you would actually set the scope, you would actually study many previous researches or articles or any any data point or any data source that would lead you to your hypothesis, your assumptions, or or you would lead to, or you will, it will encourage you to develop the methodology for the process. Okay, here you would obviously decide which databases you will have to use for your researches. You have to search and you have to review all the literature. Now, keep that in mind that what sort of literature you are citing or you're using to write or to review, you have to keep in mind some questions like, for example, does your review justify the research problem? Obviously, you're not only going to read those articles or read those papers, you have to write it down, right? Because you're preparing a research problem, right? So you would be targeting the research articles or maybe news articles related to what the degradation or the deforestation of the Magla Hills based on your research problems. Okay, so here will be targeting those papers, and you will be writing the information related to your interest. It's not essential that you have to target specifically the Magla Hills. You can target the literature of maybe some forest in the Europe who is discussing, a research is discussing that was the main issue in their forest. That is why they were losing many trees. Maybe they had many forest fires. Maybe the people were cutting it down, or maybe they were crushing the stones. They were destroying the mountains to get the limestone out of them, or whatever. The point is that literature should revolve around the area of your expertise, around your problem, the research problem, not particularly of that specific area. You can take anyone, any area, but the main crux or main gist or the main idea should be the same. Okay, now keep that in mind that if whatever you are reviewing, whatever you are citing, whatever literature you are reading, is it justifying the research problem, your research question, or, and here at this point you're also deciding, because obviously since you are going to study how the people in other continents or other areas are doing the research in the same field, that is the deforestation. So if they are doing the research and how they are doing, so you will be also deciding the research methodology here, because you will be studying that how a person, for example, any researcher, for example, his name is Alex, and his team, they are using a questionnaire based methodology. So you will do what? You will see, you will study, you will cite, or you will review the literature, that why do you are doing so? Would you like to do it too? And why do you think that questionnaire method, the survey method, is the best method for your particular field of research, your research problem? Is your study going to benefit from it? And if yes, then you would consult more literature following the same methodology to assure yourself and to familiarize yourself with the process, with the development of this methodology, and then you will arrange your research proposal and the methodology according to this literature. Now, obviously, since I said you will be citing the literature, you will be writing it down, right? Because you are making a research proposal, right? So the citation of literature is very, very, very important, because you cannot just pick a line out of a paper and just write it down as your own. All right. The main or the fundamental reasons that you have to cite, or you have to name who did what. The reasons are actually, first one is the acknowledgement of the original work, because you have to give credit to the original authors whose work has contributed to your research, whose work you are trying to maybe use it in your own way, or maybe you are using their data in your literature. So you have to acknowledge that, for example, Alex did this work. You have to write it down. Okay, then citation of the literature is fundamental because it builds on to the existing knowledge. That is, obviously, whatever Alex and his team did, maybe you are doing something further more in that particular area. So that would be built on, like, that would be a increase in the existing knowledge. So you would be saying that that is something level 2 of what Alex did. Then obviously it is very essential for supporting the claims with evidence and verification, because whoever is going to read your proposal, he would like to know that from where did you get this data, from where did you get this methodology, from where did you get this factual information. So obviously when you have written, you have cited the author or the one who did the research, so it would be easy for the reader to decide that is that information genuine or not. And obviously you have to avoid the plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying of information, so that is obviously cheat in an academic world. So in order to avoid the plagiarism, you have to cite the literature. Now, how would you cite the literature, or how would you get to that particular literature? I have accumulated like 3 easy ways for you that would help you find the literature for the particular area of interest, or as we are doing here, what is deforestation in the Magla Hills, for example, or deforestation generally. First, you can use the Google Scholar. You can just type the word Google Scholar onto the on your browser, and you will get the Google Scholar website or the URL of the Google Scholar. You will get something like this, as you can see here. And in this research bar, you will type, for example, you will type the deforestation or in Magla Hills. Maybe you will find those particular papers, or maybe you will write the keywords like deforestation, aspects of the deforestation. You will get various papers related to the keyword deforestation, and you can also customize it according to the timeline. You can ask the Google to give us, because on the sidebar you get let me show you here. Now, this is the Google Scholar. For example, we will type the deforestation. We get various articles like this. Now, over here, you can ask the Google to give you articles like we have 3 options: since 2020, 2023, or 2024. Or you can also customize the range. Maybe you want to get the articles for 1990s, maybe, or maybe in early 2000s. So you can write it down over here. All right. Next one is the Sci-Hub. Sci-Hub is actually, I have added the URL over here for the Sci-Hub. Sci-Hub is actually for those articles who are not accessible. Like, for example, the journals, the articles, there are various articles, various journals who do not provide open access to everyone. They only provide open access to those who pay them, right? So basically, many educational institute pays them, not the students most of the time. So but what students do when they are unable to get an access to a particular article, research article, they will type the DOI of that article, as you can see highlighted in the yellow line. That is the DOI of the article. You can find it over here, as I can show you over here. For example, let's open this 1985 article. Maybe it would have a DOI. Now it has opened. Now this URL, this highlighted one, this is the DOI, and you will do what? Type it in on the copy paste it on the Sci-Hub research bar here, over here. I have mentioned here, and you will be mostly able to open the articles, because there are various articles, especially the latest one that are published in the 2024 or the 2023. Sci-Hub do not have access to those, but before that, most of the articles can be opened by using this URL, righty? Then we have the third one, that is typeset.io. That is actually the artificial intelligent website, or a URL, or a website that actually gives you the papers along with the description. For example, if you're going to type that what type of, for example, if you're going to type the deforestation, word deforestation or the causes of the deforestation, you will get a list of papers, you will get a list of articles related to the deforestation, along with the summary that what type of factors these articles have within them. So it becomes easy for you to decide that what sort of information or what sort of article you will need to open it. I hope it's helping you out. Then obviously you will be formulating hypothesis. Hypothesis actually is what? Tentative or something that needs to be verified. Any statement that needs to be verified. So you are actually, most of the times the scientific researches or the applied researches are based on the hypothesis. For example, in our research, the hypothesis could be our hypothesis could be forest fires are the major cause of deforestation in Margla Hills. That is your hypothesis. How did you come to this conclusion? Based on the literature that you have studied. Maybe you have studied many different literatures that describe the major cause of the fire on those area, major cause of the deforestation on those particular area where the researchers conducted their research was forest fire, maybe. Or maybe those researches were conducted in hotter climate and the degradation rate increased during the month of July and the June. Or maybe you have observed that the rate of or the number of trees decreases, or the green cover decreases particularly during the month of May and June, and you deduce that the previous year or the last 5 years were the hottest years in Pakistan, in Islamabad. So you hypothesize based on the data you might have collected from the literature survey, or you might have collected maybe from, for example, if you are working in a meteorological department, Pakistan meteorological department, and you get the data that, oh my God, the temperature in last 5 years was very high during the month of June and July. And also you have observed many forest fires in that mountain, in the Margla Hills of Islamabad, Pakistan. So you may develop the hypothesis that forest fires could be the major or are the major cause of deforestation in the Margla Hills. That would be the hypothesis. Something that needs to be verified, because here at this point you haven't justified or you haven't verified that this is the major cause for the deforestation here, right? You have just assumed that this could be the cause based on these observations. So, but the thing is, your hypothesis could be wrong. But that is the point when you will be researching, when you will be doing the research, when you will be interpreting your data. That is the point when you will be deciding either your hypothesis was a null hypothesis or your hypothesis was a false hypothesis, or you have to develop an alternative hypothesis. Our goal in this assignment is just to formulation of the hypothesis based on our observation, based on our area of expertise, based on our interest, and based on the literature that we have surveyed and based on our observation, as I already mentioned. Now, you have developed the hypothesis, you have also cited the literature, and in the literature you have also decided that what type of methodology you will be you are considering as your major methodology to conduct your type of research, whatever your research is. For example, I have decided based on the literature that surveying and questionnaire is the best methodology for in order to test this particular hypothesis that forest fire are the major cause of deforestation. I will develop a questionnaire based on this particular hypothesis, based on this particular problem statement, and then I will obviously conduct my research. Now, as I already mentioned, that you have to cite whatever literature you are reviewing, whatever literature you are writing down in your background section, in your literature review section, right? Now, how to write this, how to cite the literature. Here I'm going to tell you the reasons we have to cite the literature I have already mentioned, but let me just briefly tell you again that you have to credit the original authors, because it was their ideas or their theories or their data that had influenced or maybe contributed to your own work. So you have to give credit to the original authors, the original developers of maybe methodology. When you are going to describe the methodology in your assignment, you have to give credit, or you have to cite that particular paper or the particular article or that particular scientist or a researcher who have already used this particular methodology, if it's something new. Secondly, it provides evidence and support. Obviously, whoever is going to read your research proposal, he needs to know that is that statement, is that fact, is that methodology is genuine or not. So in order to provide the evidence, in order to provide the support for the original or for the genuinity of your research, is to give the citations that previous person has done this as well and he got positive research, positive results. So that means that methodology or maybe this data is this information, this theory, this assumption is correct. And obviously you have to avoid plagiarism. Now, how would you do that? First, you can see two boxes over here outlined by the red, right? In the first box, you see the statement, right? With the onset of the Industrial Revolution, the problem of the Earth's climate was amplified manifolds. Okay, and then he has cited this person, Lepanin. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Lepanin et al. At 2014. Okay, so that was the person who deduced this line, who has studied previously before you that because of the Industrial Revolution, the Earth's climate has faced many problems. All right, so he's the one who first observed it, who observed it before you. So you have to cite his name in this particular way, right? His paper was published in 2014. Lepanin was the first author, because obviously he would have the whole research group, right? He would not be alone. Most of the time, any research article that is published, it does not have only one author. It has many contributors. Okay, so et al. Means that the Lepanin and his colleagues. So you have to write it like that. But if you find any paper who was written by single person, you can just name his without any et al. All right. In the second box, you can see that they have this paper has cited different researchers. Okay, that means that uh, they actually, the statement, this climate change, the intergovernmental complex, etc., this line was stated in many studies. He has cited the Adel et al. 2005, Liel Filho et al. At 2021, and the third one in 2022. That means he read the statement, or he has quoted this statement, or he has used the statement that was used before him by all three of these authors. So if you are taking any information, any data set, any definition from not a single source but multiple source, obviously you have to provide all of these in that particular order. Now keep that in mind. We have two types of order, if we want to cite more than one authors. The one that is the chronological order in the reverse. As you can see here, the 2005 one comes first, then 2021, and then 2022. But most of the times in our thesis work, in our research proposal, we are asked to do the reverse of it. We have to cite the latest one at first, then the before one, and lastly we would cite that that has the that is more old, the oldest one at the end. Now, this is how you will be citing your the literature in the literature review section. Now, we have another section where we have to mention all those references. That is the references or bibliography list that has to be mentioned at the very end of your research proposal, after you are finished with the conclusion portion, after you are finished with writing each and every portion of your research proposal. So you have to mention all the cited literature that you have cited in this way, in a list form, in a way that here you can see that I have mentioned the three references in this second red outline box: Edgar, Feliciano, and the third one, Liel Filho. Now, these references that I have placed over here are arranged in a Howard style. You have to arrange your references in a Howard style. I have already mentioned in the past session that when you will be giving out the bibliography, or when you will be writing down the reference list, you have to give it in the Howard style. Now, this is the Howard style, as you can see here. Last name, comma, the initials of the first name, that is the first author, second order, third order, and then year, and then the name of the article, name of the journal, volume of the journal, page number. That's how you're gonna give out your reference bibliography. Now, this list has to be given, it has to be provided at the very end of your research proposal. Now, what you are going to do, you have to give two types of citations. First, the in-text citation in this way: at all, and this. And the second one is the bibliography or the reference list at the end of the proposal. Now, let me tell you the shortcut for the in order to write this reference list, because it would be obviously very tedious to write each and every name of the researcher, and then writing the year, and then writing finding the volume number or the name of the journal and the page number, etc. So these are the shortcuts. As you can see, we have the three major ways the researchers in my field use, three ways that researchers use in my field use for the reference or the bibliography or for the reference list. First is the software EndNote. You have to install it. You will get a 30-day trial, and you can just give this EndNote and Mendeley. Okay, now EndNote can be used only for the 30 days free trial. Mendeley can be used, obviously, you just have to make an account, give out your email ID to them, just search the Mendeley or search the Android onto the Google, and you will get the source in order to install it. And notice the software. Mendeley is provided by the ResearchGate. ResearchGate is actually a platform for many research articles. It has many journals, scientific journals. So it also is helping us to get to arrange our references in an easy way, in a faster way, without any cost. So you can use Mendeley as well. You just have to give DOI to both of these, and it will automatically give you the whole citation style depending. And you can also give a different citation style, because we do not have only the Harvard citation style. We have also IEEE citation style. We have also Chicago. We also have APA, etc., etc. Depending on whoever prefers what. But here you have to use the Harvard style, and you can only give the DOI and ask these softwares, both of these softwares, to arrange the style references in a Harvard style. Another, the most shortest or the faster way is using the Google Scholar. Now, how can you do it? Let me show you. Now, we have already opened the Google Scholar, right? So here, this is an option. We have typed the deforestation, all right? Here we have the option cite, right? You just have to click on it, and we get different type of citations over here of that particular article, all right? We have the MLS style, we have the APA style, we have the Chicago, we have the Harvard, we have the Vancouver, etc. So this is the Harvard style. You can just copy and paste it, or paste it into your file and use it as it is, all right? That is the most shortest way. Now, just an overview that how your proposal should look like, or how, or what would be the heading, or what we have discussed so far over here. First one would be the topic. As for example, our major interest was what? Forestry, right? And in forestry, we were looking at the degradation of Magla Hills, for example, right? So our topic would be the factors affecting, because our hypothesis was the forest fire was the main cause for the decrease in the number of trees in the Magla Hills, right? So based on all this data, we can decide the topic of the research. That would be, for example, the factors affecting the deforestation in the Magla Hills, right? After the topic, you have to give the background of your research proposal. For example, if you are working for the PMD, Pakistan Meteorological Department, or maybe you are working with the forestry department, so you would give the background that why you are conducting this research, what is your interest in the research, why you are doing this out of sheer concern for the humanity, or you want to do this research because your education institute demanded, or maybe you are surveying in order because it's a part of the job. Not necessarily, or not in that particular way. Obviously, you just have to give the background that why you are conducting this research. What made you conduct this research? Did you notice the number of trees falling? Did you notice the fires or whatever? It's actually the background, all right? Why you are conducting this research, or for whom you are conducting this research. It should be a short paragraph over here. However, if you are conducting an experimental research, or a scientific research, or an expert or a applied research, so this background would be a bit lengthy, describing whys in a way that is supported by the literature. Okay, keep that in mind. Depending on your focus, depending on your topic of research, this background can be lengthy, can be small, right? Next, you will write the introduction. Obviously, introduction would entail the topic, the word deforestation. You would be describing, for example, in our example, you would be describing why forests are important, why deforestation is dangerous, what are the roles that deforestation, what are the roles of the forest, and how this deforestation can affect those roles, those ecological services, etc. That would entail the introduction part. Then you will get to the literature review. You will here at this point in the literature review, you will be discussing based on the previous study that in, for example, in China, Alex et al. Conducted a research on their forest, and they deduced that these were the factors, and these were the consequences of the deforestation in their that particular forest. This is just an example. Okay. Now, literature review shouldn't be just a paragraph; it should be detailed. All right. Because as I already mentioned, that you are going to devise your methodology from this as well, right? As those, for example, Alex et al. Studied forest deforestation, rate of deforestation in China, in particular area in the China, XYZ area in the China. Then they obviously would have in their research would have described what type of methodology they used, what type of methods they used to study the deforestation rate over there, and obviously you would think about your convenience, think about the feasibility that either those methodology, those methods are good for your study or not. So basically you are going to decide the method here as well. So you have to write it in a detail that XYZ conducted research on XYZ forest by maybe questionnaire, or maybe they counted the biodiversity over there, or maybe they counted the population over there, or maybe they studied the temperature changes over there, or maybe they studied maybe the effects, they studied the effects there, the precipitation, the rate of precipitation over there by using maybe GIS technology, or maybe they collected the data from their meteorological department, etc., etc. All right. Now, keep that in mind that introduction also obviously you would be defining the word deforestation, you would be defining the ecological services provided by the forest, obviously with the help of literature, right? So you have to cite the literature in both of these parts, okay? Then you will write the problem statement or the statement of problem, that what is what we decided that deforestation, the rate of deforestation in Margla Hills is increasing rapidly, right? That is the statement problem. Then you will write that, and then you will give out the goals and objectives, that what you are gonna do. Either you are gonna study the effects of the deforestation, or you are gonna study the causes of the deforestation, because we have devised the hypothesis that forest fires are the major cause of deforestation in Margla. Is that means we have set the focus, the objective of our research onto the causes of deforestation in that particular area, right? So what would be the objectives of our research? That would be discussing the causes of deforestation, and based on your methodology, which you will decide by reading the literature review, you will devise these goals and objectives. For example, if you want to collect the secondary information from the meteorological department, your goals and objectives would be goal number 1, gather the data from the meteorological department. Goal number 2, interpreting the data, and goal number 3, etc. Whatever, depending on how and what you want to do. Then obviously you will describe the methodology, again citing the original, if it is any innovative way. For example, that would be for example, if you are inventing a water filter, just take our previous example, okay? So maybe you are devising using the some methodology to prepare your catalyst from a previous study. So you will obviously be citing that person. But obviously, if your methodology is simply gathering secondary information from people in the way of questionnaire, in a way of surveys, or maybe getting information from the any agency, obviously you would not need to mention or to cite the person who has previously used this information. Then you would go for the conclusion in the research proposal, because obviously we are not going to conduct the research over here. We're just going to prepare the proposal. So you will conclude this proposal by adding all those information in a concise way. You just have to say that we are conducting this research is based on the degradation of the Magla Hills, and by keeping in mind the forest fire as a major cause of concern or the major cause for the deforestation, the data methodology that we would be using for that particular research would be the questionnaire or would be the secondary data collection from the meteorological department. And we will be also giving out the questionnaires, and we will be surveying the local population in that Magla Hill, that particular area of the Magla Hills for our methodology or for our study. And lastly, you will give out the bibliography or the reference list in a way that I have already discussed previously. Any question till now?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Right. I hope you were able to understand how to prepare a research proposal.
Yes, sure.
All right. If you need any help with the preparation during the assignment preparation, you can always text in the Fire Institute, the institute's WhatsApp group. Our instructors obviously will help you over there. Anyone else wants to ask a question? All righty. It was a wonderful session. Thank you for attending it, and thank you for your patience, and thank you for listening to the sessions. Hope you have a very good evening or night wherever you are. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.